Central Park area. From there, they'll pick up most likely to the 5 freeway and then down to the 110, which will take you directly down into downtown. But already, with just in the last 10 to 15 minutes, we've seen a lot more people coming out of their homes, hoping, obviously, to get a glimpse of this procession as it goes by and makes its way into downtown Los Angeles.
Hillary Rosen is also joining us, former president of the Recording Industry of America. Hillary, you're also hearing about a number of songs that are going to be performed at the celebration.
Anderson, Mariah Carey is going to sing I'll Be There. Stevie Wonder is going to sing I Never Dreamed I'd Leave You in Summer, a beautiful song. Jennifer Hudson will sing Will You Be There. Chris Brown is there. Akon is there, and Akon actually did the last duet with Michael Jackson, and Love Be Starting Something. Michael Jackson's most recent charting single was with Akon, so I think we can expect to see that. And then Lionel Richie, all of the artists have been asked to stay and perform with Lionel Richie at the end to do a star-studded We Are the World.
Joe Mitchell, senior editor for R&B at Billboard magazine, when you see this hearse as it leaves Forest Lawn and heads here to the Staples Center, as someone who spent her career covering Michael Jackson, we just lost that shot, but there, we're back again. Does it feel to you as it ends of an era?
I don't think there'll be another Michael Jackson. It's still very surreal for me. I got a chance to meet him back during the Bad era, and it still is a meeting that resonates with me still after all this time.
Well, tell me about it.
He was taller than I thought. I've been telling everybody, taller than I thought. And he had the black pants on, the red shirt, black jacket, black hat. But very nice, very, very quiet, but very nice, and was very interested. I was working in another publication at the time, and he came through the print room. We were there putting the paper to bed, so he was very interested in a lot of what we were doing. So it's just a moment that stands with me. And he's just unequaled. I just think there's icons that come and leave an indelible mark. Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, and certainly now Michael Jackson.
Is it fair to say that for 99% of the performers who follow, that they can look back to having been influenced in some way by Michael Jackson?
Oh, certainly. You see it with Usher, Chris Brown, Justin Timberlake, just the whole. And I think a lot of that kind of showmanship is starting to come back with some of the newer emerging artists that are coming out today.
Roland Martin is in New York. Roland, I'm curious to know what you think as you see these pictures. And, anytime you see a funeral procession, it does kind of make you stop and catch your breath. Sort of just how somber the moment is, the finality, frankly, of this moment is that hearse which has the casket, the body of Michael Jackson covered in really beautiful flowers, making its way to the Staples Center.
Well, it is that somber, but I also think that's a tradition in the Black church where funerals also called homegoing services, where they're seeing more celebrations. Donna Brazil knows about this in New Orleans in terms of how people look at it. And so I think you're going to see that. And you think back to James Brown's funeral, when you had people who were performing, folks who were laughing, who were singing, because the thinking is Michael Jackson is in a better place. He's in a place where there's no more pain, there's no more sorrow, there's no more heartache. And so that's sort of the thinking there. And so I think you will see people talking more about this being a celebration. That was the case this past weekend at the Music Festival. And we had Beyonce, we had Lionel Richie, Frankie Beverly Mays, and others who are paying tribute. They focus on the celebratory moment as opposed to it being a somber moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And Neo, in addition to that, John Legend, it was interesting to see at one point they also did a New Orleans funeral. The first line, and they start, of course, the funeral starts very slowly and very somberly, and then at the moment when the body is put into the ground, the musicians then symbolically began a celebration. And I think that actually matches the tone that we see behind us here at the Staples Center. I guess I had expected it to be just incredibly sad with people weeping, and it's not that way at all. Every so often you hear a shout, and people are talking and sometimes laughing. And I think it sets the tone of a real celebration of his life and his impact as a performer and an entertainer. And also, I think, with the conversations that have to be had as a person who clearly was tortured and had a lot of challenges, legal challenges, emotional challenges, and otherwise, but a real celebration of his life.
Yeah, a little bit of celebration throughout. you saw this weekend at the ESPN Festival. Madonna did a great tribute on July 4th in London. Jody Watley and Shalimar did a tribute in Minneapolis. So across the country, across the world, artists are turning out to remember his music. It's also so shocking when you juxtapose these images that we're looking at right now to the images that we had anticipated seeing just a few days from now. Michael Jackson's first concert in the O2 Arena in London, a concert series which was to be really a comeback of sorts for Michael Jackson. 50 concerts originally, just 10 were announced. Ultimately, it became 50. It was supposed to be a complete new chapter in Michael Jackson's life. And he was very excited about it. Everyone I talked to who was working with him told me that he was preparing for it. He had a trainer who was there at rehearsals. He worked long days. In fact, the last night, he was there until about 12:30. At the same time, you have to wonder, for a person about whom so much has been written about, his inability at times to deal with the pressure, very private, the anxiety, living on the stage, and yet also being incredibly anxious in front of human beings when he's not on stage. You have to wonder about the role that series of performances, and also a comeback, frankly, a comeback tour, a way to put yourself out there and say, am I up to what everybody expects? That pressure must have played a role in how he was feeling and doing. In fact, when I interviewed him, I asked him about did he want to tour, and at the time, before the London deal, he told me he didn't want to tour again. He loved to perform, but he couldn't take the grueling effort of a multi-city big arena tour, and in fact said that that's not, he didn't want to go out like James Brown went out. He thought James Brown worked too hard and killed himself that way by doing city by city every night. The name of these concerts in London where it was This Is It, he certainly had hoped that would be it, that he wouldn't need to do it anymore. But certainly, Gail, in terms of, we are told there are many songs recorded by Michael Jackson that have not been released and are basically kind of in his vault. So we don't know. There could be Michael Jackson albums coming out for years to come.
Oh, yes, he's had Tupac, Elvis Presley, so I think there's a lot of things. He's working with Akon, Red One, the producer behind Lady Gaga. So between that and the rehearsals that AEG said that they filmed, I think we're going to see a lot of new Michael material come out, and the fans will be happy.
Take a short break as we continue to watch this, what is approximately a 10-minute drive as the vehicles make their way to the Staples Center and rehearse carrying the body of Michael Jackson. Makes its way here. The ceremony, the memorial, to get underway at approximately 10:30 a.m. West Coast time. We're going to take a short break. We're back right away.